heard this bad boy plays on some of the biggest records of the year. The #1 chart busting hits, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, and More Money, More Problem. Now it's all him, Mace, Harlem World, his debut album featuring the hit smash Feels So Good, plus Looking at Me and 24 Hours to Live. The world is his, Mace, Harlem World. In stores October 28th on Bad Boy Records, cassettes, and CD.
You ready, Mace?
Party people in the place to be. It's about that time for us to.
Yeah.
Hey yo, what up? It's your boy Ruthless267, and I'm back with another vinyl unwrapping. Today we're gonna be going into the genre of hip hop, East Coast hip hop, and it's gonna be an artist from Bad Boy Records. And that album is going to be Mace, his debut album, Harlem World. Okay, this right here is one of my all-time favorite albums. This was an album that I was, prior to the release of this particular variant, I was really looking for a decent price of copy of this album on black vinyl. One of the cheapest I found was like $60, $65, $70, and in good condition, by the way, but it was gonna be shipped from Japan. You add in like the $30 shipping fee, and we're looking at like an easy $100.
Come on, son.
Everybody that I found on Discogs within the States, they just wanted crazy money, and the conditions weren't even that good. Some of them were missing the inserts, missing a whole vinyl because it's a 2 LP vinyl. Sleeve is bent, bad. So here I now have like a mint copy of it. Let's get into it. Mace, formerly called Murder Mace, out of Harlem World, or Harlem, New York City. This album was released through Bad Boy Records, Arista Records, and now Warner Brothers is a distributor, as they have now 50% stake in owning Bad Boy Records. I believe that was a deal like Diddy did back in like 2015. I could be wrong. Google it.
Okay. Do it. Do it.
This album was originally released on October 28, 1997. This, what we have right here, is going to be the 25th anniversary limited edition. It says right here on the hype sticker, 25th anniversary of the classic Bad Boy debut. This is going to be pressed on a translucent light blue vinyl, 2 LP, limited edition. So I'm very, very glad to have this copy. And the release date for this album, this particular variant of the 25th anniversary, was on November 4th, 2022. Right when I was about to possibly buy a original version from somebody online, I got word of this one, and I'm so glad I was patient and waiting. I would like to have this copy over the original one because it's gonna look cool. Translucent light blue, can't wait. This album has gone on and sold over 5 million copies worldwide. That's half diamond, y'all. Impressive. Not even some of your favorite artists, hip hop artists, have sold close to 5 million records. So, and other ones we dub them as classics. So I don't understand why we don't talk about this one and put that up there. This is a great album. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 on November 15th, 1997, and it stayed there for 2 weeks straight. It sold nearly 273,000 copies during its first week of sales. In its second week, while holding the #1 spot, the album beat out newcomers Shania Twain's album Come On Over, which hit #2, Jay-Z's In My Lifetime Volume 1, which hit #3, and Rakim's The 18th Letter, which was #4, and Spice Girls' The Spice World soundtrack, which debuted at #8. On its second week, it still beat out all those newcomers. Impressive. Now, some of the singles for this album that had accompanied videos, you got, everybody knows this one, that's Feel So Good, that samples Hollywood Swingin'. What You Want, featuring Total, that cut is classic. One of my personal favorites, 24 Hours to Live, featuring The Lox, Black Rob, and the late great DMX. And the Ever So Shallow, it's funny to me, Looking at Me, featuring Puff Daddy. And it's funny how on that particular track, he recognizes how he dropped the murder from Murder Mace, where he said, I was murder, P. Diddy made me pretty, did it for the money, now can you get with me? It's like he just let you know the game plan. So he, some people might look at that smart or sold out, but either or, the dude's got a style that's pretty dope. Now this is gonna get broken up into 2 LPs, with the first track of samples from Isaac Hayes, Puff's intro, dope intro. One of my other favorite joints on this track, Do You Want to Get Money, Take What's Yours featuring the Dog, DMX. And you know, you gotta miss these kind of albums that had like all those cool skits and interludes. This is full of them. I miss those in hip hop. I don't know if they still do them these days, but I do remember loving those when I was younger. Take What's Yours, like I said, featuring DMX. Yo, the mad rapper. If you ever just listen to some of the original releases of Bad Boy Records, and I would say starting with Notorious B.I.G.'s Life After Death, D-Dot, who did the Mad Rapper, went on to do tracks with Eminem as the Mad Rapper and 50 Cent. It's just, those are hilarious to me. Tell them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad. Will They Die For You, featuring Puff Daddy and Lil' Kim. Looking at Me, featuring Puff Daddy. Produced by a early then Neptunes in 96, 97. So those Neptunes, they blew up around 2000. So they're already making noise in the late 90s. One of those other funny skits, White Girl. Oh my God, is this me? Love You So. It samples Tina Marie. The Player Way, 8-Ball MJG, Hater. That's another funny skit. Ninjas Wanna Act, featuring Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes gets pretty wild on there. His animated self like he was back in the 90s. Classic, Feels So Good. What You Want, featuring Toto. The Phone Conversation. You know I just be saying that to get you mad. Cheat on You. Lil C's and Jay-Z. Again, 24 Hours to Live classic. Need to Be, featuring Monifa. Watch Your Back. That one, man, hilarious. Go listen to that one. You wild, easy to get, son. Do You Want to Hurt Mace? Dope beat. And Jealous Guys, which is a featuring 112, which is a remake from with a rap, of course, from New Edition. So pretty cool. I dig it. The color scheme and the photography on this album has always been like a standout to me. The blurring of the edges, but like keeping the focus on like the his face and other parts of like his hand. Really, from what Puff Daddy saw potential in Mace was that he was gonna cater to a lot of a female audience, and the man knows what he was doing. And so he took him from like that gutter, underground, Children of the Corn rapper Murder Mace, which I'll talk about in a bit, to just Mace. One of these interviews that I recently saw on the dialogue, I forget the dude's name, Gene. He has a clip where he says, where Notorious B.I.G. kind of made fun of Mace for allowing Puff Daddy to drop the murder and Murder Mace and just being called Mace.
And Mace knew that Big didn't like him, because every time Mace be around, it's funny that Big would say little slick shit out of his mouth like, this nigga went from Murder Mace to just Mace. He was Murder Mace, and now he's just Mace. You understand? So that shit was funny right there to me. And he used to always just go at this kid, you know what I'm saying? But he was like that with a lot of Puff artists. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't from Brooklyn and you represent Junior Mafia, he was a little funny with you.
He didn't understand how he just went from that to Mace, but unfortunately Biggie Smalls didn't live up long enough to kind of see the success of what Mace did. And who knows if Mace would have blew up. I think he would have, but with his passing, Puff Daddy was able to put a lot of focus on this young man. Love the light blue. Again, the color scheme, it's really dope. And it was only right. I remember wondering if they were ever going to repress this album. I was like, it's got to be on a blue vinyl. And sure enough, they did that. So salute Warner Brothers for doing that. You cash cow, you. So a little history about Mason Betha here. Real name, Mace rose to fame after being a member of Children of the Corn, which was a hip-hop group that consisted of fellow Harlem rappers Big L, Killer Cameron, which a lot of you guys know to this day, Herb McGruff, and Bloodshed. I guess once Bloodshed passed, he kind of went his own route, and that's when he signed to Bad Boy. So word is he was actually trying to sign with So Def under Jermaine Dupri, but at one of the hip-hop seminars that were happening down in the South, Diddy got a hold of him and offered him a straight up $250,000 signing bonus for going with Bad Boy. So young kid took the money. Who wouldn't at that time if you're broke? When Mace signed to Bad Boy, he caught the public eye when appearing on the track Only You, the Bad Boy remix by 112, alongside the Notorious B.I.G. Now keep in mind, when I was in high school and I heard that track was fire. Like Only You, the Bad Boy remix. The original remix on the album was cool, but the Bad Boy remix, it was just straight fire. Biggie's verse killed it on that one. The group 112, melodic, the singing, it was awesome. You know, Puffy and his little ad-libs, where he's constantly like known for and mocked. I thought I told you that we won't stop. And then this kid just starts coming to rap towards the end. Not necessarily a deep voice, but a slow flow, like a lazy flow. I don't know, he just caught my attention. Like, who is this kid? I remember, everybody know I got more bounce than an ounce. Bad boy get more money than you can count. While I'm buying things you can't even pronounce, I do it to you bad for a large amount. I was like, whoo! Man, this kid is just like too smooth with it. He made it sound so easy. I was in high school when this album came out. Although I was on that West Coast tip, dude, the aggressive gangster rap side, as I was aging, you know, the lady started catching my attention more, and Mace was just like that guy that gave you like that swag to have that clean cut, pretty boy. A lot of the homies, it was divided. Some just thought he was whack, and then others just thought like he was slick. His wordplay was just dope to me. That summer of '97, before this album actually dropped, he had accumulated a huge buzz, starting with Puff Daddy's single No Way Out. Well, it ended up being on No Way Out, but the single Can't Nobody Hold Me Down that sampled what I thought was Ice Cube's Check Yourself, but was really sampled from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. That single was released in January 3rd, 1997. Then Big's album came out, the second one, Life After Death, and we heard Mo Money, Mo Problems. And that was the second time we got to hear Mace and the Notorious B.I.G. on the same track again. And it was fire. That's like probably one of the best cuts of that whole album. And that single was officially released on July 15th, 1997. Mo Money, Mo Problems. Now the summer of '97 gets even better when Mariah Carey drops her single Honey off the Butterfly album, that Bad Boy remix that featured Mace and the Lox that was released on July 29th, 1997. Obviously you can see the summer's heating up. You already got like 3 heavily rotated singles that have Mace involved, and everybody just knows that song. That's like a classic remix for Mariah Carey. Later on next month, in August 1997, Brian McKnight drops Anytime, You Should Be Mine, Don't Waste Your Time, that single. And you know, Mace killed it on that one too. The production was great on that song. And if you haven't heard any of these songs that I'm talking about, go YouTube them, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you do. Classic joints. Cool. After the release of his album, Harlem World is out. You got his singles, plus the singles he was featuring on over the summer. Puff Daddy's No Way Out album is out, and Mace is on that joint again alongside the Notorious B.I.G. Been Around the World, which ended up dropping like a month after Harlem World dropped as a single, November 14, 1997. So as you can see, like Mace is just all over the place. It was nominated at the 41st Annual Grammy Awards for Best Rap Album. A nomination is cool. I'm glad he got it. It's just due, but it did end up losing to Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which I get. I mean, that one's just like a masterpiece, so I get it. But still, dope album. And respectfully losing to Lauryn Hill, I get it. Let's go ahead and open this up, but before we do that, let's take a look at the spine. I really like how, you know, the thickness of it. So that's really, really cool. All right, let me get out the blade, and let's cut this bad boy open.
Joke boy, you missed it. Went right past you.
So being this isn't a gatefold, I can preserve the hype sticker on the plastic wrap, and I'm super excited to see what these vinyls look like. But before we do that, let's take a look at the insert. I like this. It's not like 100-pound paper material, like thin. This is, you can hear it. This is cardstock. And I like these, man. These are dope. This is like what you would see like on the insert of the CDs. You got the thank yous. Mace loves all the kids. The photography was dope, and I said I really like the artwork on this album. It was a pretty cool effect, something that you didn't really see back then. It was like on that pretty boy tip. Now this one doesn't have lyrics, but it does have production notes, who was involved in creating the tracks. I wish this would have had lyrics, but you know, not today. Dope, man. I hope you can hear that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at one of these vinyl pieces here. These are the anti-static ones. These are dope. So when you order from Warner Brothers, you're gonna get that anti-static one. These are dope. These are clean. Oh man. Man. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. That is clean. I'm so glad I waited. It's always cool to have an original black piece, but dog, Harlem on the rise, and you don't want no problem with his guys. That's dope. And of course the second LP, and again anti-static, so that's dope. These ones come out. If you've seen some of my older posts or other video edits, some of them are like very, very hard to get out. A struggle. They're like stuck because of the static, but these super clean. This is obviously going to be another one of my favorite vinyl variants that I have up there. Let's go ahead and get this album on the Wheel of Steel, and the track that I'm gonna be playing for you, Take What's Yours, featuring the late great DMX. That just has like one of the hardest beats on there for me, and it's just gutter. Like, yes, we were so used to Mace singing on that pretty boy tip for the ladies, but that was like one of his songs. He got to see a little preview of like Murder Mace come out. So, all right, let's roll. All right, so here we are at the Wheel of Steel on the Audio Technica, but let's call it the Technica. Check out the Bad Boy slip mat. Perfect for what we're about to play right now. Figure I put a little Biggie pop, pay homage to the Bad Boy artists that really took it off. Aside from Craig Mack, who really blew up the label, and then Mace coming in to take him where Biggie took him before, as you're about to hear in this track. So let's go ahead and get this thing on. Go ahead with a little clean. Not too bad. And again, the track we're going to be getting into is Take What Is Yours, Mace featuring DMX. It's more of like Murder Mace sound. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite tracks. All right, this has a lot of information about what he's coming to do, where he stands, where he wants to put his staple in as far as hip hop and for Bad Boy. And he's just kind of letting it know in this song what his role is. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Hide your kids.
Yo, I be that young fly fellow, got thorough, dive with the narrow, did everything in the tri-barrel, and I'm the newest member of the Bad Boy team, and I'ma bring this nigga Puff mad more cream, with hooks galore, leave the city shook for sure, and I'ma take him back where Biggie took him before. You stay a player since you can't stay with the Pope, and stick to what you do best, stick to wearing coat. You looking for excuses, ways to say you broke, can't keep a whip cause you can't pay the note. Fuck the side, I'm wavy on top, Mercedes drop, black V80's cocked till the day I get knocked. All I ask when I die, dress me fly neatly, and brush my waist so I'm handsome when the bitches greet me. Word from the wise, niggas jerk pies, we hurt them guys. Bust lead, to skin they head and leave them circumcised. So how you wanna settle this, rapping on some ghetto shit? We could do it your way with mics over metal shit.
Niggas wanna shout, I'ma make noise. Niggas run their mouth, I'ma break jaws. Nations coming out, we gon' take yours. Hold the world uptown, baby, we make wars. Niggas wanna shout, I'ma make noise. Niggas run their mouth, I'ma break jaws. Nations coming out, we gon' take yours. Hold the world uptown, baby, we make wars.
Yeah. Yo, before it's all over, a lot of blood gonna be spilled. We ain't discriminating, even thugs gonna be killed.
All right, so there you have it. That was the track Take What's Yours, featuring the late great DMX. Again, look at this vinyl, dude. It's just clean, man. Super clean. Looks really cool. Great reissue, great variant. Glad to have it. Like DMX, one of the great things that I do like about Mase is knowing that he's surrendered his life to Christ and he is a believer in God, and I know this man has his salvation and he will be with the Lord when his time comes, just like DMX is. You know, let us not forget some of the harsh beginnings that some of these guys are dealt with, especially if you hear like his side, like in 24 Hours to Live. You can tell there's a part of him that wants to do good, but given the circumstances of where you're at and where you're born, it's just really tough to make some hard choices, some righteous choices that most people would condemn, which they're wrong. But I mean, a young 20-year-old trying to find a legal way in the United States to live without having to sell drugs, you know, I get it. Hip hop is always going to be the answer. One of the parts that I remember reading about how his moments of coming to God was written in this book by former Bad Boy artist Mark Curry. He was in the track Bad Boys for Life. One of the scenes he talks about is when they were all present along with Foxy Brown, Mark Curry, and Mase. They were watching the filming of You Can Hate Me Now with Nas and Puff Daddy, and the blasphemy they felt of copying the crucifixion of Jesus. It was at that time he started noticing that what they weren't doing was right, and you know, he felt his convictions. He felt the music he was making wasn't necessarily helping youth. As you can see when we read earlier, Mase loves the kids. There's been quite a few artists that end up walking away from hip hop because they have that conviction. Perfect example is Malice from the Clips, who ended up changing his name to No Malice. That guy has gone on record saying how he feels that people have committed drive-bys and getting ready to go murder people while playing that music, and he just didn't want to know that he had a contribution to that. So
how many people went to jail listening to the things that I said? Forget everybody else, you know, and other rappers and other groups. Think about how many times people got pulled over, went to jail, my record playing in the car. Think about how many times somebody's head was blown out, you know, and the theme music still playing, or whatever, because I know I liked who I listened to and wash my car to it, you know, pump my gas in it, and it was just the theme music to my life. So you create that vibe. You definitely create that vibe. This isn't an opinion. This isn't, you know, trying to rap shame or anything like that. This is truth. You know, we do tend to gravitate towards what we are filling our minds and eyes and ear gates with, definitely. And I don't know anyone who could deny that.
Yeah, no, that's deep.
I get it, respect. I do still appreciate the art form, production, and everything that goes into making this music. And again, man, I was just born on this stuff, so it is what it is, and I really enjoy it. So again, if you haven't had a chance to order this album, they still got some up there. You can go to various record shops online. You'll probably find it in your store. I think I've even seen them at Target. Go get you a copy. I mean, just look at it. Clean, dope. Hope you like that line. Kanye West is on record's favorite music artist or rapper. Mase is supposedly Kanye West's favorite rapper. That line. And I'm the newest member of the Bad Boy team. And I'ma bring this nigga Puff mad more cream. You know, Kanye used that on when he got signed to Rockefeller at the concert, and they brought him out the chaining day.
I want y'all to know that I'm the newest member of the Rockefeller team.
So dope. But anyways, awesome album, great album, over 5 million sold. To me, it's like a hip hop staple. I think it's legendary for the time. I doubt Warner Brothers is gonna put out the Lox's debut album, Money, Power, Respect, because that album was fire too. Please, Warner Brothers, hook us up. Until then, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, whatever you gotta do. I enjoy making these videos. Again, I don't get the kind of time that I would like to, but I try to crank them out when I can. Still got like a ton of vinyl that I need to unwrap and review and talk about. I find that these are more like little documentaries just to give you insight on the artists and the album, the time frame and what it was like and how impactful it was at that time, me being an old head. So that's all I can pretty much do. We specialize in opening up colored vinyl, picture discs, limited editions if you will, and also the classic blacks vinyl if they are like classic. You know, I don't just go out and get any kind of albums or vinyls to increase my collection. Like I get the ones where like I'm liking 80 to 90% of the album. So glad to have this copy. Until next time, peace.